All right, let's get into our next discussion now. The Federal High Court in Abuja has fixed April 25th to deliver judgment in a suit seeking to stop the National Assembly from altering the sequence of the 2019 general elections.
Well, the presiding judge, Ahmed Mohammed, adjourned the case after counsel on both sides concluded arguments. The Accord Party is challenging the legality of the lawmakers' action, which says through its counsel, Wale Olanipekun, that the move would create an abnormal situation in the electoral process.
Now, other parties in the suit are the National Assembly, the Attorney General of the Federation, and INEC.
It is whether a bill in the National Assembly can be subjected to the powers of the court. Our position is that a bill is not right until it turns to an act. They are saying the other way around.
Meanwhile, the contentious election sequence has taken a dramatic turn, with allegations of plots to bribe lawmakers rocking the National Assembly.
Yeah, supporters of the bill have alleged that some powerful individuals sympathetic to the president at the weekend perfected a plan to bribe National Assembly members. Now, the allegation is that pro-Buhari senators might receive $50,000 each, while House of Reps members sympathetic to the president will each receive $30,000 to sway their decision on the matter.
With us in the studio is a lawyer and political analyst, Dr. Fasi Yusuf. Good morning to you, and thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
Good morning.
Good
You're
morning.
welcome. Nice to see you.
All right.
All right, first off, we need to understand, does the National Assembly, as a legislature, have the power to make and amend laws?
Well, by asking me that question, you are turning me to be a court of a justice where I will make pronouncement. Parties have gone to the High Court, and I think it is only ideal for us to wait for the outcome. And don't forget that that's just the first tier. The Court of Appeal is there, the Supreme Court is there, so the events are just unfolding. So it is not for me as a lawyer to determine whether it is proper for that suit to be,
Or not to be?
or whether it was proper for anybody to go to court. I mean, in any case, everybody's free at liberty, because I mean, we're talking about liberty now, we're talking about freedom, we're talking about democracy, to approach the court as a arbiter over any matter whatsoever, whether reasonable or unreasonable.
All right, but why do you think, or what do you think is behind the controversy that surrounds whether the presidential election should come first or come last and all of that? Why is there even?
Well, I think fundamentally, I think it's political engineering or political permutation. Some people are benefiting from the present system, and some people think with the new bill as passed and presented to the president for assent, which he declined, they will benefit. Perhaps they saw the undertone on the wall that perhaps the way things went in the past was not favorable to them, and that the new arrangement might be favorable to them, or perhaps may do some harm to the present administration. So we don't know their minds, but all I can say is that a lot of interplay of political forces.
And talking about interplay of political forces, the National Assembly, of course, has the power to veto any bill and the decision of the president and pass such bill into law. I'm not even talking about this electoral amendment. So with that in mind, really, what do you think could play out?
Well, I think, first of all, I need to say that you see, I'm amazed at the present administration. You see, this is an administration that controls the National Assembly. It has the majority. The beginning of the problem of APC was the president saying that he was not going to be interested in whoever as the National Assembly, I mean the Senate and the House of Representatives, and that has caused the problem up to this moment, to the extent that the two houses, I mean the two regions of democracy, the executive and the legislature, are perpetually at war with each other, which is very sad. Even when it was not so, things were better. But now, friction factionalizations, and what have you. It's not doing our democracy any good. And we are not getting the best out of our democracy. When a political party that controls the executive, controls the legislature, cannot make progress. And they cannot sort out things. If there was harmony, we could not have got into this stage.
But on the other hand, harmony in the context of it is the same political party at the executive and majority, but on the other hand, seeing them as two separate arms of government with independence, would that not be seen from the window of the beauty of democracy playing out?
No.
Okay.
Rather, it is the negative aspect of a democracy.
Why is that?
Because a political party coming into power has its manifesto, it has the modus operandi it wants to adopt in getting certain things done. Okay. So if you're not getting the cooperation, it's just like when you have a house, you have a family set up, the husband is taking one position, and the wife is also taking another position. What do you expect the children to do? Some will fall in line with the husband, others to go to the wife. Okay. And would that house be in order? Would that be harmony? Would that be synchronization?
Okay. But then the political party is quite different from government of the day. When you talk about government, even if politicians enter into government, they're supposed to be above politics. They're supposed to represent the people. And don't you think that is why we have
what do you mean by politics?
Checks and balances?
Politics, I mean, you cannot divorce politics from our daily existence. Whether we play partisan politics or we are observers or we are very passive or whatever, politics exists everywhere. And our current politics, if, for example, you have military politics, you forgot it? We have military politics, we now have democracy. And democracy is all about politics, interplay of forces, I mean, interest, harmonization of interest, and not. So my contention and my submission is that if a political party comes to power and is unable to harmonize its activities, its operations, the people that will suffer are you and I.
Well, isn't that why we have checks and balances, like I said?
No, excuse me. Most of these things happening are out of personal interest, self-aggrandizement, not in the interest of the nation. Not in the interest of the nation. The Senate might mean well, the House of Reps might mean well, the presidency or the executive might mean well, but if you take all of these things together, the country is the worst for it. For example, the budget has not been passed, and it's the same political party in power. They're talking about May now. May, it means you have only 7 months to operate the new budget. And what about all the activities that we need to be executed? How are we going to get about that when the executive and the legislature are perpetually at war with each other? Nothing good comes out of their meetings. It's very sad.
All right, but if we see from another window, is in as much as it is the same political party and all of that, with the executive and the legislature having majority of the same political party, but is the National Assembly necessarily supposed to pass every bill that the president wants? They say yes, and whatever comes to from the National Assembly to the president, he assents to?
No, okay. No. We are not talking about not being objective.
Okay.
You see, the only supreme being that is above partisanship is our creator. But as far as administration of a country goes, I mean, look at what's happening in America. No, people in the Congress might not necessarily agree with Donald Trump, but in the interest of the party, for the party not to be disgraced, they compromise. And that is not to say it is not in the overall interest of America. If you talk about the issue of gun control, you remember that the Republican Party never supported it. But because of happenings, they are trying to modify their position. So the same thing should apply in this country. If you have a political party ruling or administering the country, to some extent, I mean, to ordinary people, they must be seen to be in harmony. We all know that the Senate president is not comfortable with the presidency. The Speaker of the House of Representatives is also not comfortable. It's a bit mild, but should that be? The National Executive, or National Working Committee of APC too, has some problem with the executive. For example, up to this moment, most of the processors are yet to have their boss in place. And the party is going to election next year. By March or February, they're going to election. So when would they have time to really constitute the board? And when are they going to be compensated? So you can see that for the last 3 years and all the rest, the experience has been unpalatable for the Nigerians because we are the losers.
Okay,
we, the people of Nigeria, are the losers, not APC.
So would you say that maybe because the Senate President and the Speaker got to those positions
without the input of the party? Yes, because, I mean, as we say in journalism or in mass communication, he who pays the piper dictates his tune. To some extent, you know, that should be. If the party had put Saraki in power, Saraki will be compelled to listen to the party. If the party had put Dongara in power as Speaker, then to be compelled, because now it's only allegiance to those who put them in power. And don't forget that it's not only APC that is there. You have PDP, you have ABGA, you have Accord, you have some other political parties there. And therefore, for a Senate President to satisfy his constituency, that is the 109 members of the National Assembly, it has to master the various forces and they try as much as possible to satisfy the interests. His deputy is a member of the opposition party. Don't forget that even the deputy speaker was not put in there by the party. So it's a house divided among itself, and we'll continue to have these problems until maybe after the 2019 general elections. If the party comes, maybe they will have learned their lessons, and if they don't come back, then the party that will be taken over will have borrowed some lesson from the APC debacle.
Okay, now with these issues in the National Assembly, coupled with the fact that, okay, we're talking about even the same political party, in many of the states, they have crises, they have issues here and there. Is it likely that the different groups that came together to form the APC, we're referring to the new PDP, the CPC, the ACN,
most of them are,
is it likely that
most of them are strange political bedfellows?
So is it likely that is still part of what is playing out, why they cannot come together?
You see, the problem with this country is lack of political ideology. You see, in other climes where we borrow democracy from, although we might tailor the democracy to suit our own purpose, because there's something absolute in the whole world. But the problem we have in this country is that we tend to go after where the bread is buttered. Yes, we are not prepared to sacrifice. We believe that everybody must belong to the ruling party. You can see that since APC came to power, there have been a lot of movement from other political parties. Today they're moving and all the rest and all that. Because, in fact, most of them don't even know the manifestos of their party. They don't. They just feel that, okay, APC is in government in Lagos State, I should be able to get something. Okay, let me be very close to somebody, or let me be close to APC, let me know Ajomale, or at the national level, Oyegun and all the rest, or let me get to see Tinubu, follow Oyegun. Or Saraki could do some wonders, or perhaps I know the president and all the rest. And all these things will not make our democracy to grow and flourish. It's a sad commentary in our body politic.
But it's quite surprising, taking it from that perspective, that those who are the major players now were there some of them in the First Republic, some of them in the Second Republic, where political parties had ideologies that time, where at least we should have built from there. But It's so surprising that they're not keeping up with
the concept of politics in Nigeria has taken a dangerous dimension. I remember as a young man, I was political secretary of a political party in Lagos State. We had a membership cards. We contributed to the well-being of the party. But now, members go in there because they've been promised one thing or the other. And as long as you see political party as an avenue for to amass wealth or as an opportunity for self-aggrandizement, you can never make progress. You cannot have any ideology. You see, the way I see politics playing out in this country makes me very sad. It is melancholic because it's all about talk, no action. A lot of motion, no movement. You see people sitting, having meetings, doctrinal meetings from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. only to go back to the same thing. Nobody sits down in this country to articulate views. In the days of Action Group, in the days of Unity Party of Nigeria, in the days of MPN, we have research and documentation committee. They churn out statistics, research, and all the rest. Have you seen any political party churning out statistics? Now, all we are told is that to make life better. How do we make life better? What are the indices of development? What are the indices for marshalling strategic issues to benefit the society? We don't know. For example, when Big Gate came, he told us the home truth. The only thing we could do was to be on the offensive. Can we really make progress out of that? See, yes, Clinton came to Nigeria and he said the bad thing about democracy is that things are slow in coming up. But without democracy, we cannot have sustainable development.
Exactly.
But how do we have sustainable development when we don't even know where we're going? Things are upside down.
All right. And then you even get the input of the people before these bills are passed.
But let me tell you, you see, we're just talking about the only aspect. There are 45 clauses in the bill.
Exactly.
45 clauses.
Exactly.
So people are just interested in one.
We remember, it reminds us of the, in the days of Olusegun Obasanjo, where the issue of the third term was taken and every other thing was rejected.
Was subjugated.
There's so many beautiful things about the bill.
Subjugated.
Yes.
Even right now, that bill, so many beautiful provisions, but the contentious one is one that has taken over the whole landscape.
Exactly. All right, we have to leave you here now. Dr. Fasi Yusuf, thank you so much for coming on the program. Thank you.